In terms of the idea, the journey is fairly long because I think in terms of making it as a film or this idea coming about for a film format was something probably that happened around 10, 11 years back.
It's been there for about 8-10 years in the making, in his head at least.
The very first time that we talked about it was actually just around the time when Jhoom Barabar Jhoom and Fana were being made. More than the story, there was always a lot of talk about his own fandom for Shah Rukh Khan. Maneesh Sharma is the biggest fan of Shah Rukh Khan, more than possibly Gaurav Chandna.
Actually, I feel that I have been a part of the film since 2010 because we've discussed it so much and we've talked about it so much. Ye hoga, usme wo hoga, aur aise hoga, and the whole idea of the look-alike, which was the main idea actually. And then slowly all the other stories, how big a star Aryan is and what kind of person Gaurav is, all those things, all those details got filled in later. So I have felt like I've been a part of, I've been doing this film for the last 5, 6 years.
Fan by nature in the film or in the storytelling of it or in the scripting of it, there's always a sense of duality, which is what we have all worked on in any case. And strangely in the process there was a lot of duality. When he is Gaurav, I felt like, because I guess I have been on the other side of the table more than him, there was a lot more that I was bringing to the table. Then the other duality was when we were talking about Aryan, I am taking a lot from it, and there was a lot of things, but you want to get more details. I don't know what it's like to be Shah Rukh Khan or feel like a star or, you know, to lead that life. So a lot of it came from Shah Rukh also.
It's a strange thing. I'm 50 years old. The first 25 years of my life I was Gaurav, and I played 25-year-old as Gaurav, and then the next 25 years I've been Aryan, and somehow those years I remember better, obviously, because they're happening to me as we speak. So I'm emotionally more attached to Aryan, to be really honest.
So Aryan Khanna in the film is not a cardboard star, you know. He is grey in his own way. He is very human in his own way.
I think the best part of my enactment as an actor and more difficult part is to do Aryan Khanna, not Gaurav. Because Aryan Khanna is in his private space. So that's a difficult space because if I'm not playing me, I don't know any other superstar, and more than that, I don't know any other superstar in the private space. So somewhere down the line, we had to figure out a mix for him.
So Aryan's research started with us going to his house. We went to his house, we wanted to study what his environment is like. In terms of colors, when we came to Aryan's world, we decided to keep it a little neutral. We decided to keep it a little subdued, monotonous. Like, we wanted to make him a VIP. We wanted to make him like a little high-end society person.
Aryan needed to look like a superstar. He needed to have that kind of backing with him. And if I didn't have it, and Shah Rukh was more than generous about, you know, hey, go into my closet, pull out something, do whatever you guys want, you can mix and match. And Shah Rukh and I always had our discussions about why are you making me look so girly? You can't make me look so, in the time I don't wear, fitted pants. He doesn't wear fitted pants and stuff. So we had to tailor make those things into what we were doing. So yeah, we did use a lot of his stuff. We did get a lot of stuff. Shah Rukh and I went shopping in London, which was really fun. And so there were lots of things that we put together. And so I gave in to him where Aryan was concerned, whereas he gave in to me where Gaurav was concerned. Because I was like, no, Gaurav is like this, you have to wear this.
The trickiest thing in writing this film was Aryan, because Aryan could not be Shah Rukh Khan. So we had to create a star, but then within the space of the film, within the fictitious space, his persona had to be as big as a Shah Rukh.
He's a superstar for the world and outside the house. But the minute he is in his house and within the four walls, he is for her just her husband. And she is actually the strength of the family. She keeps it all together. But he's not a superstar for her. She's just the man she married.
Because I think he's played Aryan so well. There is that tinge of vulnerability, but also that tinge of, okay, I know I'm a star, and a combination of all these things, you know, and he's managed to pull it off. And somewhere Aryan is quite close to who he is. So you also have to do justice to that, you know, because people are going to judge you by who you are as Aryan. So it was a really tightrope walk, and he's done it so well. I've become a fan again after this film, I think.
Gaurav was easy. Gaurav has shades of Bittu Sharma of Band Baja. Gaurav has shades of various things that we have done in Delhi. Of course, the tricky thing there was to reveal the dormant psychopath which is inside that very affable, friendly persona.
While workshopping and while shooting, when we are talking about Gaurav or doing Gaurav scenes, you know, obviously we arrived at a certain body language that we'll be using, the way he would talk, the way he would behave, not making, just to keep it very organic. While interacting with him, I actually thought that I'm interacting with a youngster, you know, and suddenly when we are talking about Aryan Khanna, there's a different demeanor.
To begin with, Gaurav is a character who the film is about, who's the protagonist or who's the central focal point, and also he's the one that your heart goes out to or should go out to. So Gaurav was difficult technically maybe, but that's the technique of acting.
Gaurav is the one who sets the tone of the film, because like he says, you know, without Gaurav there's no Aryan. So we started with Gaurav, and Gaurav's character actually is a very humble, it's very joyful kind of a character who's happy-go-lucky. He doesn't, he has only one motive in life, which is to meet Aryan. So his life actually had all the colors, like, you know, we made it like little vibrant, we made it little, we didn't restrict ourselves.
Of course, Gaurav is that's the author-backed role, and it has so much physicality to it. He's also doing more, being more proactive.
He's a black and white type person. So anytime you throw a color on him, he's just like, what are you doing to me? And that's his comfort zone, as I said. So it works for us within Aryan, but with Gaurav, we had to veer away from that because he's a Delhi boy, and I can't make him, you know, a Delhi boy without using color and without using the craziness of Delhi. A little louder than what we would do for an Aryan in Bombay.
I think Gaurav's character realistic भी है, and at the same time justify भी होता है कि वो ऐसे क्यों behave करता है, and at the same time you understand Aryan का perspective भी. तो as an audience कौन सही है कौन गलत ये choose करना बहुत difficult हो जाता है.
गौरव बहुत ही impulsive child है, वो बचपन से वो आर्यन खन्ना का दीवाना है, जो उसके मन में आ जाता है वही करता है. आप देखेंगे फिल्म में वो उसकी माँ उसको खाना देने की कोशिश कर रही है, वो नाच रहा है यहाँ वहाँ पागलों की तरह. उसके जैसे आर्यन खन्ना का भूत सवार है.
मुझे लगता है कि गौरव एक अच्छा बच्चा है मेरे हिसाब से, बड़ा प्यारा बच्चा है. वो बिल्कुल बाप से गया है.
देखिए क्रेडिट ले रहे हैं.
The idea was that Gaurav should not be someone who's a double role. He should be a lookalike. And you should forget they're the same people. That's what Maneesh and Adi were very clear. So it started with, of course, the physicality part of it, then the body language. Then, of course, he comes from a very different world. You can't take Delhi out of me, so that is there. But yeah, I haven't been lower middle class for years now. Yeah. so that's a difficult part. So to be able to bring that back and do it honestly and earnestly is difficult. Yeah.
मैं मेकिंग कर रहा हूँ, मैं शूटिंग नहीं कर सकता हूँ.
That most of the boys and girls who are making this film, and I think I must be the oldest person on this film, making this film, they all like me. I think as a movie star also, or at least they gave me the impression they all like me. So they've seen all my work. So it was very strange that some of the scenes that I've done before, I'm doing them again. And some of them were like, oh, it's not like how you did them before. So that's very strange, to be told that the scene that I have made a classic or got made classic because I was in it is not as good as I'm doing it right now, so I need to do it again. So वैसा नहीं है सर, वो बाजीगर वाली बात नहीं हुई सर, फिर से करो. But मैंने तो किया था, मुझे मालूम है, तुम्हें मालूम है. So it was a little schizophrenic to be doing yourself and being gauged by people who love you more and respect you and tell you, you're not doing it as well as you've done before. Specifically the scene, there's a little bit of a takeoff on बाजीगर. 15 साल से जो खून मेरी माँ की आंखों में आंसू बनकर रिश्ता रहा. I think I can do it in my sleep, but I had to do I think 7 retakes because Maneesh and everybody felt नहीं सर वैसा नहीं हो रहा है वो. तो सर वैसे ही हो रहा है, होंठ हिला रहा है यार, सब सेम कर रहा हूँ. तो सर नहीं वैसा नहीं हो रहा है सर. I didn't know how else to do it. So then, I mean this is very embarrassing that I had to go back to see the Bazigar scene that I've done and copy myself from Bazigar and hope I've done it well. And I think still they were not too happy with it. They were like, okay sir, theek hai. Okay, so I can't do me anymore. So that was a little embarrassing as an actor. Yeah.
The copycat competition then became a very interesting tool, which happens all over the country. It became an interesting tool to establish how good Gaurav is in becoming Aryan and how convincing he is. The residents of his colony, they buy it and he always manages to get the first prize.
It was a challenging sequence. This was not a song. This was a monologue and an epilogue and a tribute that a fan is giving to his star. And within the parameters again of what he's able to do. हमको एक शो जो आपको सामने दिखता है, right? जो आप देख रहे हो as an audience, जब स्टेज पे होते हो. एक शो होता है बैक स्टेज, उसको भी एक्सपीरियंस करना बहुत एक अलग ही शो है वो भी. जस्ट टू सी हाउ द बैक स्टेज मूव्स, कैसे प्रॉप आते हैं जाते हैं, कपड़े कहाँ से आते हैं, कहाँ से कोई एक जैकेट आ जाता है, एक टोपी आ जाती है, ये फूल आ जाते हैं, वो मैंडलिन आ जाता है, एक मैनेकिन आती है बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली हीरोइन तो आ नहीं सकती, तो ही हैज़ टू मेक डू विद अ मैनेकिन हु इज काइंड ऑफ ग्लाइडिंग इन एंड द रेड दुपट्टा इज फ्लाइंग एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. So it was fun, like when we were staging and when we saw him perform, Shah Rukh, my God, we've just gone mad seeing him. He was so cute. I don't know how many times, he must have, 1,000 times he must have rehearsed for it. And then of course he gets ready after those 1,000 rehearsals. And he performs it like the entire unit will start clapping. So we shot even all those sequences that Aryan performs, which is based of course on SRK's character only. And to see him do those steps, but we had to kind of do variations of those steps as well. Obviously, I can't tell Shah Rukh को मैं Shah Rukh बनना नहीं सिखा सकती, वो तो उसको automatically आता है. So that is something that I need not have worked on. What we needed to work on was Gaurav.
वैभवी ने सारा कोरियोग्राफ किया है और बड़े ओरिजिनल कोरियोग्राफी है, आपने पहले कभी नहीं देखी होगी. एकदम नए स्टेप्स हैं.
The focus of the copycat sequence is that he enacts Aryan beautifully and he becomes like Aryan, which is actually going to help in the second half of the film where he actually becomes Aryan and fools a lot of people. So it was very important to focus on that instead of having a song. So then that decision was taken.
The process of making this film is extremely irritating. And I mean, I can garb it into it's hard work, but for the sake of art, you have to do it. No, you shouldn't have to do this. This is very irritating. And you've done a scene and you think you've done it well, and the director thinks you've done it well, and now you have to do another pass for the other pass, and you're not doing it as well. And you're like, can't we use that? No, but we have to do this. And not only for me, the other actors, Deepika and the gentleman who's played my father, they have to act every time without me in the scene to capture the background. So they must be feeling so stupid, and they are younger than me, both of them. They're playing my father and mother, so that is even stranger. So yeah, it was a very odd space to be doing. And whatever you may think of yourself as an actor, but there is a certain amount of vanity that creeps into you, that you're looking nice today or you're looking, but every day I'm looking not like myself. So there's nothing like I look nice or I don't look nice. And I know one day or 2 days, it did happen after a long time, I came as me. And I could sense that everybody in the unit was so happy that finally we are working with Shah Rukh Khan, who we know, and not somebody else, because we become so used to it, you know. So it's a long drawn out process. You have to have immense amount of patience. I didn't know myself if I have this much patience. Now I know, and now I know I don't have it for another film.
Biggest problem for me was that it was really spread out. Normally what happens is that you have chunks and then you finish them and you know that what you feel about it. Like, you know, what you feel about this, okay, these sequences together. In fact, it was so scattered that it was really much at a later stage that I could see the film taking shape. I mean, I had an idea, but to really see it pan out in front of me was a much later thing. So that was the biggest challenge in this case. Also, I think to keep the balance in the sense that, of course, you know that Gaurav is a certain kind of character and Aryan is a star, therefore a certain kind of person. There is vulnerability in both, and there is this human aspect, you know, which was, at least for me, that was the brief, in the sense that I have to make Gaurav human and also keep Aryan human, because beyond who they are in life, like he's a 25-year-old boy who runs a cyber cafe and this one is a superstar, but they're also human, and what is happening in the film is about that. So for me, that was the most interesting and also the most tough part of it, to maintain Aryan's vulnerability, because I think somewhere Gaurav has it going for him, in the sense he looks cute, he does these things, he has, you know, more dialogues that make him endearing, but Aryan was not like that. So I think that was the thing.
But I think the biggest problem being a star, and I say this and I've read it in written in my book also, is you lose the ability to surprise, and you lose the ability or the right to fail. Those are challenges. You know, you can't surprise people. You know, people, oh, वैसे ही है, he's good only. So it's the ability to surprise, and then you have to do something completely, and you don't need to hear. I mean, you know, when you're working, and if you're an actor, little nuances, a few changes should make people accept the fact that you're doing it differently. But I think if you're a big star, you lose the ability to surprise or the freedom to fail. And these two are the biggest creative aspects that one should have. You should have the ability to surprise with your creativity, and you should have the freedom to fail. Otherwise, you'll never be creative enough. So that balancing act and that part of being a star is the most difficult, challenging part of being a star.
Even, I mean, to shoot on his birthday, I got goosebumps that day to see that kind of thing. And you also wonder, what is it like to be a star like that, to have that kind of adulation? And of course, I mean, you are human and it affects you, but how much does it affect you after a point? So all those questions, hope the film answers them in some way.